Hey gang, Craig Ripley here. Welcome once again to Living Off the Slab. Now today what we're going to do is finish up this video series on my new bike, and that is the BMW K1600 GTL. In this case, it's a 2018 model. So what we want to do here in this video is cover some things that I really like about this bike that we didn't talk about in those first two videos, and also a few questions came up along the way, so we'll try to answer those as well. So first of all, I want to talk about some of the things that I really like about this bike, some features that I've really found to be cool. And the first one is, well, the horn. And why do I like this horn so much? Well, because it's not one of those little Roadrunner beep beep horns that you get on so many motorcycles. This is a real deep, loud sounding man's horn. So hold your ears. Now this horn has actually already saved our bacon once. Kathy and I were out for a ride last weekend, and we were coming up to an intersection where you can either take a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn. Well, there was a car in front of us that decided to get into the left-hand lane, but as we moved over to take the right-hand turn, they of course changed their mind and they started coming over on us. So what did I do? I reached for that horn button and I just laid on it for several seconds, and they stopped dead. I mean, because this thing is pretty darn loud, right? And you should have seen the face of the passenger as she turned around and saw us go by. I scared the crap out of them, which was exactly what I intended to do. The second thing I really like on this bike is that it has reverse. Now, I've never had a bike with reverse before. I've ridden a couple of them with various versions of, reverse on it. But this bike is the first one I've ever owned. So it really is coming in handy, actually. That way I can back it up most of the way into my garage without the reverse, and then for those last few feet where I have to get over a little hump, then I just hit the reverse button and I let it do it. Works really well. Now, how reverse works on the GTL is that you have to have the bike running, of course, and in neutral, right? And then you have a little R button that is on your left handlebar controls, right? That puts the bike in reverse, and then you control, right, reverse, that is, make it go backwards by using your start button over on the right handlebar control. So you hit that button and the bike moves backwards. Now, I will tell you that it does take some getting used to. On this bike, the first couple of times that I hit that start button and the bike started moving backwards, it felt like it was accelerating. But then it smooths out and it settles down. So again, just that first second or so, it feels like the bike is really going to keep accelerating, but then it stops and it settles down, and it works quite well. Another feature that I really like on this bike is hill start mode, or hill start control, right? And the way that that works is as you pull up to an intersection, if there's a hill on it, right, you of course pull in the clutch, and then you pull in the front brake, and then you release it. And that locks the bike in position. You'll see a little H come up on your control, on your instrument cluster there. And then you can just sit there. You can take your foot off of the rear brake, keep your hand off of the front brake, and again, you can just sit there. And as far as I know, there's no limit to how long this stays on. I've heard on some other bikes there's a limit to how long that stays on, but so far I have not reached that on the K bike. Right, so what you do is basically just when you're ready to go, you give it a little gas, you let the clutch out normally, and the bike pulls right away, doesn't fall back. You don't have to worry about any of that, fighting with the clutch or anything. It works great. Another thing I think BMW has done a really good job of is laying out all the buttons on your hand controls. Right? They're all easy to get to, right? You don't really have to take your hands off the bars. Like on so many other bikes, they're in kind of weird positions. You've got to take your eyes off the road, or move your hands off of the bars to get to them. But on the BMW here, they have done a really good job of making them all within easy reach of my left thumb in particular. So the next thing we want to talk about is this, and that is the K fob, right? And a lot of bikes nowadays come with it. Everything from a Harley up to this BMW now comes with these key fobs. You just have to push a button on your bike. As long as you have this in proximity of the bike, usually it's going to be in your pocket, the bike will turn on and everything will function. So I didn't really know if I was going to like it at first, right? Because I'd never had this before on any of my vehicles. I always had mechanical keys, but you know, it's growing on me. So basically all you do is throw this in your pants pocket or in your jacket pocket, and then as long as you are either sitting on the bike or standing close enough to it, usually within about 6 feet of the bike will power up and everything will work. And one thing that I am finding is really cool is that central locking feature, right? Because I can just hit one button up on my right handlebar and then all of my bags are locked. Much easier than having to walk around with a key and check each one. All right, I think that's really going to come in handy when I'm out on a tour. All right, just take everything out, hit that button. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Another thing that I am really impressed with is this group, and that is the BMW Motorcycle Owners of America, or the MOA. Right? I joined the MOA shortly after I got the BMW because I want to support my local groups. Also, they have some great added benefits like roadside assistance, a tire warranty. There's a lot of cool stuff that this group has for you. And you don't have to be a BMW owner to join this group and get all these benefits. Right? In fact, you can be a Victory owner like myself and several other people that I know who go out and do some of the BMW MOA events here in the Northeast. Right? A lot of great people that I've met so far, so I can really recommend joining this group. But also, they really have their stuff together. Right? They put out this great monthly magazine, right? The Owner's News, right? That has a lot of great articles in there talking about other BMW owners and things going on in the BMW world and the motorcycle world in general. So I can really say I am really impressed so far with the MOA. Okay, so there are a few other things that I could talk about here, such as heated grips, heated seats, right? But I'm not going to go into all of these other little details about this bike. Right? There's a lot of stuff to like here. What I am going to do is talk about, well, one big thing that I'm really not happy about. Now, I know that one of the knocks on BMW is that they're very expensive. They're very expensive to work on, right? The parts are expensive, and that they break down quite a bit. Actually, the same knocks that Harley Davidson has. But there are thousands of happy BMW owners out there. So I kind of just took all of that stuff with a grain of salt and figured, well, if it costs a little bit more to operate this bike, that's okay, as long as it gives me the value that I am looking for, right? And so far, it has, right? I will tell you that my first service was a little bit more expensive than I thought it was going to be. Typically, in the past, for the first service, I've paid somewhere between $250 and $300. Right, depending upon which bike, and I think that is about the range that you're going to find on other bikes, right, in this kind of price range. I know that the guys that I know who ride Indians, they are paying that kind of price range for their first service as well. However, my first service on this BMW ran $430, so that's, you know, about $130 or so more than I was expecting it to be. Again, no big deal. We'll see how that ends up being in the long run. And I have to say that the dealer did spend a full 2 hours with the bike. I sit there and I watch them go through the bike in great detail, torquing everything down as well as doing an oil change and other systems checks on the bike. So I do not begrudge them in any way for their hourly rate. The one thing that I was a little bit surprised on when I got my receipt for my first service was the price of the oil and filter. Normally I've been paying about $70 for an oil change kit for my Victory. Well, the BMW kit ran, well, just over $100 for the oil and the filter. So that's a little bit more expensive. Again, I'll have to look and see if there are any alternatives out there. But also I want to keep the bike under warranty. Another thing that I was not too happy about was that I have already had a warranty claim on this bike, and that is I had a bad throttle body. I won't get into all of the details on it because that could take a whole video in itself, but we'll just say that I ended up having a bad throttle body on the bike, and that had to be replaced. Well, basically the whole throttle body assembly had to be replaced. Now, it was done. The dealer did a great job with it, but they had trouble themselves in going back and forth with BMW. From what I understand, the whole BMW process is that, well, the dealer has to, of course, get approval from Germany, right, to make the repairs, and there's this time difference, and so the BMW is asking a question, the dealer is responding, BMW is asking another question, the dealer is responding, and this just takes an inordinate amount of time. So my bike ended up being in the shop for, well, a week, right, while this was done. Now, it's run fantastically since it was replaced. It's awesome, but still, it was down for a week. Again, it is the end of the season, so it's no big deal, but that is a little bit of a worrisome issue. And one last thing, of course, just before I was ready to finish this video, I found out about this big recall that is being done on the K bikes. That is all of the GTs, the GTLs, and the K1600Bs that were sold between 2018 and 2020. They are all being recalled for a transmission issue. And it sounds like it's a fairly involved thing to get it fixed, right? And I guess the problem in all of this, and again, before I say it's a problem, I appreciate that BMW is going to step up and fix these things. That's what we want them to do, really. I'd appreciate that. I don't have any problem with them, stepping up and fixing it, right? However, all of this information gets released to the motorcycling public, right? We find out that this recall is going to happen, so then we run to safecar.gov and we type in our VIN numbers, and then our bike doesn't come up right in the search, and so, which is what happened to me. Right, and so now we are questioning, well, is my bike part of this recall or not? Well, it is, because all of them are part of the recall. Right? However, the information isn't up to date in safecar.gov. Right? So then I end up having to call BMW customer service line and find out if my bike is included or not, and they can't tell me, right? Because they don't have all the information yet. So everything gets released into the public and on the internet, and all of the motorcycle sites have it, but none of the owners have been told anything yet. Still haven't received my letter in the mail. My dealer doesn't know anything about the recall. I mean, they know what's going on, but they haven't received any instructions on how to fix it or been sent parts or anything like that. So we're all just kind of sitting here in limbo, and nobody can really tell us anything. So I don't know, maybe that's not just BMW's problem, it's a problem with this whole recall process and how it works, right? But it leaves you a little bit frustrated, especially here in the Northeast, as our riding season is winding down, and if I have to get my bike up to the dealer, right, in the middle of winter, well, that could propose a little bit of a problem, right? So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. The bike is running great. As far as I know, I can still ride it. I haven't not been told not to ride it by the dealer or by BMW. So we're going to keep riding it and enjoying it until I get the official letter. But it is a tad bit frustrating on the way these kind of things get handled, and of course, coming from somebody who has only had the bike for 3 months now, and this is now going to be the second warranty repair, it gets you thinking a little bit. I love the bike, but it gets you thinking. So okay, gang, I guess that's it for this video, and this is going to be it for this series on my new BMW. From this point on, I'm just going to ride it, and I am going to enjoy it. All right, so if you've made it this far, you might have noticed that I switched shirts during this video. I now have a hooded sweatshirt on where before I just had my t-shirt on. And I did that because, well, I'm doing this video over 2 different days, but I thought it would be nice to show you that I have this new logo t-shirt available also in a sweatshirt. So if you're interested in one, please head out to my website, www.livingofftheslab.com, where you can pick one up. So guys, also if you support this video in any way, that is buying from Twisted Throttle by linking through my website, supporting the links in my Amazon influencer page, or even buying my new ebook, which is available also on my website, I appreciate all of those methods. If you want to subscribe monthly, right, become a Patreon for as little as $1 a month to help us out. Again, I appreciate that very much. And even those of you who just watch and enjoy the videos, I appreciate all of you as well. So guys, thank you very much. We'll see you next time. I have some plans for some videos that I want to do over the course of this winter, so you'll be seeing those soon, along with I'll be working on those videos of my big 60-day trip that I got back from. So have fun. What's left of your riding season, if you lived up here in the cold country, enjoy it and ride safe.